This makes me think of like things we talked about around this topic in regards to data, right? And in regards to AI. So all those two tools specifically seem like they help you curate that message more specifically.
Sure.
But so what are the complications in doing that? Like, obviously that's not necessarily a skill that everybody has. Like,
Boy, that's a big question.
Let me just do
like
some AI real quick.
But let me hit on it.
That's my AI noise, just so you know.
Oh, you didn't even do it through the...
I need to record that and sample it. We can just...
that's how you... Okay.
Yeah,
I see how it's going to...
it.
This podcast is really going to develop. I can see it.
We're going to have all kinds of samples.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So AI, predictive intelligence, machine learning. I like the topic of, what is it, natural learning or language processing or neural language processing or something like that. I've been studying about this quite a bit, extensively, because it is the hot buzzword. Everyone's just like, are you using Einstein? Are you using this? Are you using this feature here? And all you have to do is just turn on this toggle. But no one really understands what magical things are supposedly happening underneath the layers. But here's my findings, right? Machine learning is very rudimentarily, like most machine learning, especially in email marketing, is just algorithms. It's just math. It is just putting things, there's a good website. I'll have to find the link somewhere.
Yeah.
But there is a landing page that says this L turns into a 1. This 0, or this letter T turns into a 1 and a 0 or whatever.
Ooh,
so you're basically just getting down to this person is male or female. This person is a boy or girl. This person is, and you're trying to put then all that data to a point where machines can process it very, very fast. Statistical models is what we're doing. Okay. So machine learning is just statistical models. And if you know math really, really well,
insanely hard and complex. And
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's not that complicated.
And that's why you're an alien.
No, well, maybe. But
yeah, I hate it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
I literally hate it.
That makes more sense, right? Like, people that hate math probably shouldn't be in the analytics space of email world, right? Or trying to, be smarter in this development of better content creation process with math. It's also harder to track, but nonetheless, I think that we are at the very scratching the surface of getting better at machine learning. Now, when we talk about language, and and this is beautiful stuff coming out, where you can say, color is kind of an adjective, right? You're describing something.
Okay.
So if you had a subject line and you had a group of words together, and you could then put an emotion to it, you could say these two words, when we read the book, when we do this, as humans, we can apply an emotion to a combination of words. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what we can, and that's what machine learning is doing. We're teaching machines to read books and to see that combination of these 2 words or 3 words or 4 words together, this grouping, and saying, apply this emotion, apply this adjective to it.
So how does that help? So obviously a human being is doing the writing.
It's teaching. Google did this. So Google Books started off by scanning every book in a library. Okay. And then teaching their AI. They're using that data to teach the AI that these grouping of words and these sentences together to form these emotions. That's now open source. 5 years forward today, we are now in a place where it's open sourced in a way that most marketers have access to this technology that they don't know about, right? Yep. How accessible it is. But basically all this paid products and services that are out there in the email space to do this machine learning and turn it on. Yeah. They're just using open source models that are available. Okay. And
so forgive me in my math hating self.
Sure. Yeah.
But how, and I don't hate math. I greatly appreciate it and respect it. It's just that's not how my brain works. But I see the value, but what I don't see is how teaching AI to identify emotion in word combinations helps email marketing. Where's the connect there?
Sure. So if you ask the question of, like, we go back into like building an email, right? Yeah. We ask the question, how and why am I building this email? What is it for? If we go back to that and we ask that question correctly, we will find out the why and the what it's for and why we're doing it situation, right? Okay. So then we'll understand like some goals that, you want to send a happy birthday email to this boy that likes trucks and trains or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And that subject line should be something in the color of blue or green, something that gives this outdoors feeling. You apply this crazy thought process around a subject line, and then machine learning and AIs can say, what color do you see with this color, with these combination of words? And it will spit out brown.
Okay. So like when you create your like customer avatar for an audience, and you write an email, you can basically consult the AI to say, does this match my avatar?
Yeah, that's what we should be doing today. Marketers today should be. So AI and machine learning should only empower.
It's unbiasing.
It's unbiasing. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. It should make a marketer do better marketing. It doesn't make your email creative process smarter. It just makes you as a marketer more intelligent on making your opinion unbiased.
It seems like at a level of scale, it could even obsolete the writing process to a certain degree.
We're not there yet, but I think you
at least that's many years in the future at some point.
It's true. There's attempts.
I'm sure we're nowhere. We're
close.
We're close, but we're definitely not there yet. And it's like, nobody knows how many steps.
It's not as obtainable like what you're describing, right? Yeah. It's not as
I'm talking like Star Trek stuff or something.
you are, but it's not probably. It's realistically probably 2 years away, where content could be rewritten. If you write some content, we like Grammarly and stuff like that. They're suggesting better content writing skills. Right. And when you start off an email with like your Gmail and you start composing something, it will suggest to you like, do you want to just send this word?
I've noticed that's been getting more like accurate and more suggestive. I'll be typing and it'll suggest whole phrases. I'm like, wait a minute, tab. That works.
It's awesome, right?
It really is.
And what it does is it looks so.
That's an incremental step towards something.
Yeah, that's NLP. That's I think it's neural language processing.
Yeah.
And that's what neural language processing actually has done for us, is that gotten to that press a button and it sends an email that sounds like something we would say. Yeah. Because your buttons that you click sound like something you would say. My buttons that I would click sounds like something I would say. That's how advanced Google has gotten with their Gmail suggestion.
Those are customized.
That's not just for my research. They are customized. Yes, or they're going to the level of customized.
Tell me about your research.
At Google. I just Google everything.
Okay.
I Google the Google. I learn. Yeah.
You Google the Google?
Yeah, I Google the Google. Right. I would say that I'm a big Google fanboy. I won't lie about that. I have my Nest Hub, my Nest thermostat. I got all the smart lights at home. I have everything just connected to the Google Nest. Now, has that backfired on me? Absolutely.
Okay.
It starts talking Spanish to me for no reason. If I talk too fast, it'll just like, you Cuban.
Are you serious?
It's like Latino. Less.
That's
yeah.
We don't have to get into that, but I think I have seen some. Like, I could talk about that for a minute, but like the voice recognition between Apple, Amazon, and Google. I feel like Apple's edging them out on voice recognition.
You think Apple's doing better?
Yeah, I feel like I get better results when I'm like doing dictating or stuff like that.
Is it results?
Accuracy.
So there's two things about this, like, what is it?
The NLP or
no, just transcribing what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So there is the results factor, which is like, hey, Google, search for XYZ.
Sure.
And it will start searching. That probably just triggered a bunch of people to search XYZ.
Right. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So anyway,
sorry guys.
I would say that the results is that is the resulting factor of what you asked for. Did that work? The accuracy side is more of like, did it actually render what I said? Those are two different things. I personally find that Apple is behind. I have an iPhone, so I'm not completely biased with Google.
Sure.
So I'm not an Android user fully, but I would say I never used the transcribing as much as other people do because I had such bad results in the beginning, maybe.
Yeah.
And that was just so horrible. But I also, like you pointed out in my beginning of the podcast stuff, is that I slur certain things. So I don't know. I would say that we're improving, and that all companies are driven to improve.
Right.
And no one's going to be, left behind unless they quit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, I mean, cars are only going to get smarter.
Yep.
Evolution of email is going to get better. Email's just going to get better. The cars are going to get smarter. Our language processing is going to get more intelligent.
Right. So one of the things you wanted to chat about was the evolution of email technology. I feel like we touched on that. Are there any other points that you're kind of like wanting to delve into?
I would say the evolution of email technology is interesting. If you look back, there's always this rise of a new buzzword, of a new hot thing to do, and then it falls down, and it comes back up, and it goes down, it comes back up, and it's like, how much is it going to stick?
Right. Is that AI or is that?
Well, we got else? Google AMP. I don't know if you've ever heard of that in your early days. It's basically like it's only for Gmail, and I think a couple other email providers are starting to do it. But you can make like interactive emails type processes where you have like motion in the email, and you have different, like a slideshow type thing. Yeah, which is neat, and that's. But also, does it work? Like how measurable is this? Like how much is it working? We're not finding, like from my tests of implementing that for a couple of clients, it's a waste of time right now. Right now, it's a waste of time.
Not much. Oh, okay.
It's not a huge payoff. But it's going to come back and it's going to stick and it's going to. Yeah. I would say that's the easy answer. Is it's too early. But it also is at least something.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I see Google doing that a lot. Like they'll throw something out there, throw a couple $1 million at something.
I love it.
Let's see how this performs out there.
It's better than an Apple.
Yeah. That like waits until like, they're definitely like very conservative. Yeah. They want everything to come out as like perfect, right? And Google's kind of like, we'll see how this goes. Yeah. They're way more experimental, scientific. Yeah. They're less concerned about, they're like, Google is really like engineer brain to me. Yeah. Like their culture. That's why lots of tech people, gravitate towards their products, and whether it's an Android phone or their APIs or all the different stuff. Yeah. They're really experimental.
I will say that Apple has attracted me towards the privacy side. Right. More than Google has. Yeah. But I never was afraid of Google's like privacy side. So.
Right. Yeah, totally. And Apple is that, they're more, they have that exclusive vein throughout all of their products. So it's like, it's good that we have both, and then Windows out there doing something.
Windows, yeah. I don't even really know what they're doing right now.
Have you seen the Windows 11 memes?
No.
They're harsh. They're harsh.
I don't know if Apple News just like completely just like, no, we're not going to talk Microsoft anything today.
Yeah, I don't see coverage on that. Like unfortunately, strangely, very millennially of me, saw it on Instagram. It was just Instagram tech memes. I love the tech memes, and it's just like something about Windows 11, and then like they threw Vista in there. It was like some snarky snarky thing.
You're a Mac user, right?
I am not. I'm actually Windows 10.
You are Windows.
Yeah,
wow.
It's just easier. I mean, I did desktop support for so long. It's so comfortable with it. But I am looking to switch to
but you won't, because you won't be Command C, Control C will just drive you crazy.
It's definitely, I will have to like relearn my muscle memory for all my hotkeys and stuff like that. But I mean, working because I worked in a data center for like 7 years and doing IT stuff for so long. It's so comfortable to be in Windows 7 and Windows 10 are pretty similar, and it's just comfortable space for me, just from a UI standpoint. But when I worked at a place where they gave me a MacBook, and I liked it a lot. But it's definitely just like the file structure is different. Everything's different on it. But
Do you think who will do it first? Now that Apple's came up with the new iPad that is like, you can touch screen and stuff like that, and Microsoft came out with the Surface, right?
Right.
And who do you think is going to do it right first off the bat? I mean, Microsoft did a good job. Surface was a huge success.
Right. I love touchscreens. My laptop's a touchscreen. I have a Lenovo. I think it's really fun, but I don't think Apple will ever do it.
Oh, they're got to do it. They got to do it. Oh my God! If they don't do it, I might just throw my iPad brand new into my hot tub or something. I'm just like, screw this. Just screw this.
I think they're,
because I've been waiting. Like, there's a lot of friends. No, I've been waiting.
I feel like they're so strict on their design and their user experience that they're like, we don't want fingerprints on our MacBook beautiful Retina display. I think that's the mindset. Like, if you want to get your fingers on something, that's why we created the iPad and the iPhone.
Really?
I honestly think because
that's mind blowing to me, because
do you know?
Maybe you have an OCD problem with fingerprints.
Well, I don't. It's designers do, and those Apple Johnny Ive.
It is ugly.
DNA designers are like.
Do you not think the glass could get better at hiding those?
I think
marks?
It definitely can, but like.
Is that what Apple's waiting for? Is maybe the glass to be improved so it doesn't bother them as much as like the perfection thing you're talking about?
That's very possible, but.
It's very possible.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Mountain,
you want to put some money on it?
Well, how long are we gonna survive for this to watch?
Like 30 days.
I
mean, they probably will, just because they've they've folded on remember Steve Jobs was like, we're never having a stylus.
Yeah,
and then many generations on the road, they came out with the Apple Pencil, which is a great device from what I understand. I've never used it.
Super interesting talk that I found early on when Apple came out with the iPhone, the big Steve Jobs announcement, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, if you go before and try to figure out who was the first touchscreen presenter,
okay,
in the developer space, in the software engineering space, I was able to find this kid, literally a kid, that presents the first touchscreen glass.
Really?
Yeah, it's no joke.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it even says in there, like, the people in the front row were Bill Gates, Steve Jobs.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was just it's just shocking. And huge applause to this guy. This kid. I mean, it literally looked like a kid. Like
right.
But he just showed this
20 something.
I would say late 20s, maybe early 20s.
Okay. That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I gotta find it now that I said it. So it's gotta be fact checked by everyone.
Episode, we'll get it in there. Was it like a Palm Pilot type thing, or was it?
No, this was the interactive glass. This was the first version.
Sheesh.
And it literally looks like the iPhone glass being really touched, cool. Interfaced, and everything. And then 1 year, if not 2 years later, they applied that on the iPhone and showcased it like it was, really cool. Groundbreaking. Mm-hmm. But I hope the kid patented it, right? Like, he didn't get screwed over. Like, oh, now I'm on this E.M.U podcast getting talked about for the last time. Like, that's where my life went.
Living in a basement apartment.
Yes, but it just shows, like, anyone can do anything, right? Like, you can improve basically any process if you have the dream and the desire to do so.
Yeah.
And marketers, especially email marketers, have a really fun task at hand because we're sending an email. We know the job. We're not doing a landing page and we're doing a website redesign. We're just doing email. We're just doing the email. Now, there might be landing pages involved, but hopefully there's more people involved for you as well, because if you're doing it all, you're your old school webmaster style is your title.
Webmaster.
Yeah, you might want to ask for a different job.
That's tough. Yeah, and I mean, like, I know for me, when I was doing email, like, as the primary email sender, it was like I was doing 20 other things. I was like, running this, running that, doing the social media, running events, running building operations, and then I was like, oh, do email too. And I'm like, well, I've never worked in an organization.
How do you get good at one really good thing?
Yeah, it's like impossible. Yeah, So like now that I've been spending more time with you, like seeing like, wow, it's this whole world. Like there's this email geeks. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much nuance to this because it's really like you're pitching every time. You're sending a package that you want someone to open every time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. It's exactly that. I mean,
it's amazing.
It's very fun once you are trying to get good at one really, really good thing.
Yeah.
And not trying to do all these other things that your boss is telling you, oh, you got to do this and this and this to be productive financially for them.
Right.
But if you can just get time to focus on the one task you really like to do and spend time on that, and say, well, I'm going to just do this because I'm going to be really good at it. And, if you have the guts to say, you can fire me if you like.
Right, exactly.
That's pretty ballsy. It might be the right move because...
And I think there's data to back that up. Like
absolutely.
If you can say, hey, look, these companies have produced this much ROI because they care about their email marketing.
That's what makes consultants.
Right.
They're just really good at one thing. I mean, it might have several other things involved inside of it.
Right.
But that's really magnifying on the one thing. It's like, we're just talking email, which sounds like, okay, you're just talking email. But inside email is the creative process, the design process, strategy process, the analytics, the reporting, the discovery of new things to implement, the data itself and the data science to it.
Totally.
So one just email is got 10 to 15 other categories within it. And that's, that's when you start. But that's where we're at. I think that, a lot of clients I work with are already knowing of these 10, 15 different categories within the email space.
Right.
And they're saying, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? I'm like, well, you can't ask me reporting questions at the same time while you're asking me the creative process questions, because we can't track if you're still having creative process problems.
Gotcha.
And it's just,
there's an ecosystem there, right? And you change one thing, it changes another thing.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. I mean, focus on one thing to be good at. Like, start at maybe one part that you're having the biggest problem at and saying, why am I having this biggest problem?
Right.
Why is my analytics look so bad? And maybe it's the design. Maybe it's the creative. Are they opening the email? Maybe it's the subject lines if they're not opening the email. Maybe you have a deliverability problem, that the email is not getting in your inbox. It's not getting to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Maybe your timing is wrong. Maybe you don't know your audience well. Maybe they're all unsubscribed. Maybe you have a data problem. It could be a list, a laundry list of items.
Is it just like, is there one most common problem you see, or is it just like case by case basis? Everybody's pretty different.
Oh, the number one is documentation.
That's right. You said that. Nobody knows what's going on.
Documentation is literally the missing component in every job I walk into.
Wow.
And it is my best number one selling pitch. If I, as a consultant, I will say this to every other business and consultant agency out there. I know you're my competitors, but I'll say it. If you're not documenting, you're not doing anything better than the next guy. Documentation is the key to success.
Wow. Just and what is that, right? It's just knowing everything you're doing, having everything you're doing organized and recorded in a way that's accessible. Otherwise, it's just like papers fly in, you're flying by the seat of your pants. You're making decisions based on your own intuition.
That's exactly what's happening.
And that's all approximate. You can't ever have a precise data-driven decision.
Yeah.
But when you have all that stuff, it's like you have an authority, an unbiased authority, data-driven, unbiased authority you can point to saying, this is what we're doing and this is why. And it's not an opinion of some dude. It's not just because that guy's got the highest position on the hierarchy. It's because there's data that's in continuity with the entire business of why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And gosh.
And I only started really knowing that documentation was the secret sauce.
So true.
Maybe just 2.5 to 3 years ago is when I started saying, you know what? I'm going to get really good at documentation in this email marketing space and get templates that just help me help my clients, and they'll never fire me ever again because no one else is documenting like I do.
Nobody wants to do it.
No one wants to do it. And I don't like doing it. I'll say I was not a writer. I hate writing, but just something is better than absolutely nothing.
Totally.
And it eases everyone's mind, even eases my mind. That's like, well, I documented this change, and on this day and this time, you said to do this here, and I put that change in a request, and it caused this problem and ripple effect down here. Mm-hmm. If you don't have it documented, how would you ever find what caused that ripple effect? What caused the people not to open or the emails not to be successfully delivered because you didn't document the change, you know? Totally. So, and that's just, really, this is something that's came into like software engineering, project management, and things like that.